It's me, Lori Sue III, and Rufio's behind me here. I don't know if you can see him, and the water behind me. Such a beautiful view. We've got the sun's going to be coming and go. Moved into door number 3. Door number 3 in the 4 Doors by Richard Paul Evans is magnifying your life. One of the things that you get to choose to do or not do. To magnify a life, to expand its influence and power beyond its current realm. It means to push and explore the limits of our divine potential. To magnify our lives also means to exchange our mental map with much larger ones. That's what magnifying your life means. Think of that magnifying glass, right? Dreaming. I talk about the brain and how important dreams are for the brain. We cannot live what we cannot dream. When my youngest daughter was in the 3rd grade, to commemorate Martin Luther King Jr. Day, her teacher gave each of the students in her class a piece of paper with the words, "I have a dream." You've probably done this too. I know I did. Written on the top of the paper. The students were given the assignment to write to their own visions for a better world. When my daughter showed me her paper, I smiled. Below the words, "I have a dream," she had written that someday handicapped people will be able to park wherever they want to. I was pleased that she had been given this assignment. I've always been a dreamer. When I was 9 years old, picking up discarded nails on a construction site for 35 cents an hour, I dreamed of being wealthy. When I was sweeping out the basement of the school my dad was working on, covered with dust and gypsum powder, I dreamed of being someone important in politics. Watching other guys at school talking confidently with girls, I dreamed of someday having a beautiful wife. When famed explorer John Goddard presented an assembly at my school, I dreamed of traveling the world and experiencing other countries and cultures. In the 5th grade, my science teacher showed us how the poles on magnets attracted or repelled each other and told us that if we invented a way to make a motor run from these magnets, he'd give us $500. Actually, what he was proposing, a perpetual motion motor, would be worth billions. I dreamed that I could create such a motor, and using the magnets from the back of plastic refrigerator letters, I spent the next 2 weeks building more than a dozen prototypes before finally giving up. Like I said, I've always been a dreamer, and all my dreams, except for a working perpetual motion motor, have come true. All of them. I've been blessed with a remarkable life. I have traveled more than 1,000,000 miles, visiting all but 3 of the 50 states and more than 20 countries. My beautiful wife and I have danced in the White House and dined with presidents and prime ministers. I have sat with governors and U.S. senators in hotel suites watching election returns come in. I have sold millions of copies of my books in dozens of languages and have received tens of thousands of letters from people whose lives that have been touched by those books. My charity has helped more than 50,000 abused or neglected children. I believe that none of these things could have happened had I not dreamed big when my life was so small. There's a powerful principle to handle right there. Dream big, even though you feel like your life is small at this time. Dreaming is the first step in magnifying our lives. I believe that once we begin to focus on a dream, our mind and perhaps the universe draws our desires to us. While this reeks of magical thinking, I believe there's something to it. One year, I wrote down that I wished to travel to China. 4 months later, a friend called to tell me that she had just won a trip for 2 to China and her husband had no interest in going. She asked if my wife and I would like to go. The trip was life-changing for us. For a few years later, we adopted a little girl from Guangdong province. Pretty cool, isn't it? When we dream or we imagine, we set a goal, we have an intent, we actually start to imagine it in our mind. Leslie Householder, if you've ever read any of her works. Okay, so she studied under Jim Rohn and then Bob Proctor. Anyway, she talks about transmutation and the science of transmutation. Part of that is the water that's in the ground right now. Right now, I'm sitting here on this hill and there's water in the ground. You don't see it, I don't see it, but it is evaporating up into the sky as we speak. That's going on all the time. She explains that scientifically that happens with your thoughts. So if you think you're gonna, like this, Richard Paul Evans wanted to go to China, and he put that out there. I just love to go to China. I'm so thankful to go to China. What would it be like to go to China? How would I feel in China? What would I do in China? All those things to imagine starts to actually create that in the universe for you. For him, if someone came along and said, hey, my husband doesn't want to go to China, I've got these 2 tickets, here you go. Pretty amazing. And I really have found that to be true for me too, in just small things and big things. So I really believe in this concept of expectancy, of dreaming, of imagining. We learn by Napoleon Hill, or from Napoleon Hill, that Henry Ford and Albert Einstein, both spent, and they blocked it in. It was part of their schedule, 30 minutes a day minimum, spend in imagination. And so it's a powerful tool, because look where it got them, and we're still utilizing several of their inventions. So with that, my friend, I hope that helps you to get excited about dreaming and imagination and moving forward in the best way. Subscribe to my channel, and comment down below so I can see what it is you want to know more about, what you want to explore, what you want to experiment on. And come visit me at majesticu.com. There's some freebies there for you, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. So bye for now.